A very good morning to everyone present here. I believe this is the fourth day of this workshop. Now, I know some of you may already been wondering why you are here and what this particular talk has in store for you. So, whether you are here by choice, by mandate, or because your guide has forced you, I'll try to make this journey a bit short and a bit interesting. So before we start this lecture, here's a startling fact for you. A huge percentage of graduate students, 86% to be exact, they haven't touched any kind of research during their graduation phase. Now it's like showing up for a cooking class and getting asked to prepare a seven-course meal on first day. Yet this exactly happens in your postgrad. One minute you are just a student, and the next minute your guide is standing on your head to decide a thesis topic for you. So on that note, I wish to express my sincere gratitude to SRM Dental College, Chennai, and Mahalakshmi ma'am, especially, along with Madhav Dental College for organizing this workshop. A big thanks to everyone who is involved in putting this workshop together. So let's start this topic, which actually everyone just try to avoid. That is literature search. So what exactly is research? Now, research is like being like a detective, but instead of solving crimes, you are uncovering facts and piecing together the truth about something, a research topic. So think it as a treasure hunting, but the gold is knowledge, and instead of map, you have got your literature, methods, and data. So the first step in conducting a research is choosing a research topic. Think of it like choosing a life partner. You will be spending a lot of time with it. So you better pick it very wisely. Ideally, choose something you are actually curious about, but if you are handed a topic just like an arranged marriage, try to find at least a method or material, that sparks some interest. Now, even the best topic, they need a bit of structure. That's where finer comes in. Your topic should be feasible, it should be interesting, it should be novel, it should be ethical, and it should be relevant to your study. Now, to find and decide your research topic, you have to perform a search of the literature. Now, just imagine try building a house without a blueprint or a set of instructions. That's what it's like doing a research without a literature review. So this background work, that is the literature review, it tells you about what's been done before and it helps you avoiding the old work to do again. Now it's about kind of laying a solid foundation. So when you eventually dive into your research, you know where you are starting and where you need to go. Now, like our Amit Shah famously said, "आप chronology को समझिए." That is the understanding the timeline of research is very essential. So by looking at the progress in your field, you can see how knowledge has evolved over the time. So start with the basics, build on what has been done, and slowly work your way to the unknown. That is your research topic. So to do this, you need to read previously published scientific research or paper. So what is a scientific paper? Scientific paper, you think about as a status update for researchers. These are used to share the research work with other scientists. There can be an original research paper, it can be a case report, it can be a case series, or the aim of this scientific paper could be to review the research conducted by others, just like a systematic review or a scoping review. Now, these papers are usually published in scientific journals of their particular specialty. The traditional scientific papers are peer reviewed, that is, a paper is accepted in a journal if it is reviewed by two or maybe three or four experts in that field. Now, if these reviewer believes that the research is important, it is valid, it is relevant to this particular journal, the paper is accepted for publication. Now, the findings of these kind of papers, they help you to decide your research question and finally your methodology. Now, where do you find these scientific paper? PubMed, of course. Think of PubMed as a Google, but for medical research. So instead of the celebrity news, you will find scholarly articles. Just simply put in your research question, hit search, and yes, you have got your results. It's Never easy as it sounds, but luckily PubMed does the heavy lifting for you. Now, PubMed is basically a pre-search engine. It assesses the Medline data of all the biomedical journals. It is maintained by the NLM, which is the National Library of Medicine in USA. Now, before PubMed was there, before the advent of internet, we used to go to libraries, search journal articles, get them photocopied. But the PubMed has and the internet has simplified the whole process. It is very efficient, it is very precise, and it saves you countless hours and frustration of going to library trips. Now, this is the first page. When you click the PubMed link, it has a search bar, just like a Google. You type your query here, and it will return the relevant results. Now, these search results shall contain research articles, reviews, and maybe some indexed book chapters. So, to start a literature search, you have to first summarize your research question in a single line. Now, here is a very hard truth for you. If your research question is confusing to you, it will be even worse for your readers. So, a clear, specific question is just like a very strong foundation. Start with something simple and narrow and make sure it is relevant to your thesis. Okay, let's formulate a small research question and keep it very simple. For example, I wish to check the bond strength of a new resin luting cement to be used with metal inlays. So, while preparing keywords for this search, I will break my search into 4 parts. We call these parts as PICO analysis. PICO, P-I-C-O. So PICO is like a secret code for research questions. Uh, P is for population, I is for intervention, C is for comparison, and O is for outcome. It is a bit like making a shopping list for your study. Think of each part as a different item. Population is who or what you are studying. Intervention is what you are doing. Comparison is your control or alternative group. And outcome is what you hope to find. Now, break it down this way, and suddenly your question becomes more focused and manageable. Now, in our formative research question, our study design is in vitro. So, the population is the extracted teeth. The intended intervention or the agent to be tested is the resin cement. Now, in any experimental setup, we need a control group or a comparator agent. In our case, let's put it as glass ionomer cement. And finally, the outcome, that is the intended result. The most common way of checking bond strength is a shear bond strength. So we write shear bond strength as the outcome. But it's just an example, and you can modify your PICO as per your intended search. But these 4 things, they make out the basic initial keywords to start a search for the literature. Now, while performing a search using these keywords, it would be very nice to use one keyword or maybe a combination of these keywords at a time. A very simple way is to use Boolean operators such as and, or, and not. Now, these operators are like a secret sauce to an effective search. And is very picky. It includes only those results which have both the items. Or is like an open-minded person. It includes either of the search keywords and not shuts the door on terms you don't want. It's like putting setting filters on a dating app to find exactly who you're looking for and avoid those you aren't. So if we type resin luting cement in the search bar of the PubMed, we get almost 2,800 results. Now, if you're overwhelmed with thousands of results, don't panic. Just add another keyword or use an and operator, and, A-N-D. It has to be capital. It's a bit like looking for a specific book in a library by narrowing down the genre, author, and title until you find just the right one. Since we are testing bond strength of the cements, we add bond strength along with the operator and. I'm repeating and, A-N-D, and that too in capital. This will ensure that the results shall contain entries having both the resin cement and the bond strength. Now, as we can see, the number of results have now been reduced from 2,800 to almost 1,100 results. Now, we can also use the OR operator, OR. Now, the intervention is resin cement and the comparator agent is glass ionomer. So we can use an OR between the resin luting cement and the glass ionomer luting cement. Now you can see the results have again increased to 2000 results because these results contains those results which have either resin luting cement or a glass ionomer cement. So the results have increased from 1100 to now 2000 results. Now, one very important thing in this search is the judicious use of brackets. We cover the entire keyword within a bracket, right? Just before using any Boolean operator. It's like organizing items on a grocery list. You put all the veggies together, like raisin luting cement, then the fruits, and then the dairy. Now, while searching, brackets make sure PubMed understand which terms go together and how they are related to each other. Now, for example, if you write down just resin, luting, cement, glass, ionomer, the PubMed may think that we are searching for cement glass. So it's better to put all the keywords, relevant keywords, in a single bracket. Now, coming back to a search for the keywords. Now, most of these 2000 entries are redundant and they contains data that is not relevant to us. So to narrow down your search further, add another keyword with AND operator. Now for that, we add dental inlays to our search strategy and the results come down to almost 70 results. Now this data shall have majority of the information that is relevant to our research. Now some very basic tips to use PubMed. On the right hand side of the PubMed window, we can see a display option. Now, if we click on that, we shall be able to sort the entries by relevance or publication date. Now, sorting results by publication date is key to staying up to date. Now, research in our field, it moves very quickly. So narrowing to the last 5 or maybe 10 years, it can give you the latest insight without waiting to the outdated studies. Sorting by relevance, it means it tries to show you the most useful articles first. It is like asking upfront for movie recommendation. They will tell you the best one, not just a random list of title. So sorting by relevance, it gives you a more curated list of studies to just save time. But I personally use most recent articles for an initial search using the keywords. Another important feature is on the left side of the screen, there's an option for text availability. Now, if we click on free full text, we can see that we have 8 relevant articles with free full text. Now, PubMed free full text, it's like a lifesaver for us. It's like sorting out for free samples in a store. This filter shows you only the articles that are freely available with a full text. Your wallet and your patients will thank you. A lot of articles in that 70 article list, they are not available online as a full text. But if you click this small icon over here, the free full text, only those articles will be displayed on the PubMed which have a free full text. Now to see the details of any article, just click on any articles and you will click on you will land on a page just like this. Now let us understand what this page suggests. The bold line over here, this bold line over here is the title of the paper. Before are the author details. Above, we have the publication details, including the journal, year, volume of the publication. And finally, we have the abstract or the summary of the research. Now, abstract basically gives you a snapshot of the article's purpose, methods, and findings. They are like reading the back cover of a book before committing to read the whole book. It basically lets you understand that if an article is worth your time, giving you the basic highlights, so you can decide whether to read the full text or not. Now, since we have opened the free full text article, we can see here a full text link on the right side. So if we click it, we can access the full text of the paper. Now, apart from these basic keywords, you can additionally use strategies like medical subject headings and using advanced search features in PubMed. The medical subject headings is also known as mesh terms, MESH terms. Now, believe me, don't take any stress on using mesh keywords or the Boolean operators. The updated website of PubMed, it translates the initial search formulation and it automatically adds field name, relevant mesh terms, synonyms, and Boolean operators. So When we have entered our keywords in the PubMed, it has automatically used all the relevant mesh term. All these which we can see are the relevant mesh term which are related to our keywords. We have not put these mesh words in the search, but the PubMed has automatically generated these mesh terms. The Boolean operators and the keywords, they help to give us all these results. Now, after you have gathered all the articles, the next step is to review them for relevance. Look for the key points that match your topic. Now, if the title and abstract sound like they are on the right track, save it. If not, don't be afraid to skip it. Now, just because it's published does not mean it's exactly what you need. You need to find at least 5 to 7 high quality research papers relevant to your research. Now, use these 5 to 7 papers to finalize your topic, your basic research methodology, and narrow down your search even further. Now, let's shift our focus to the next part of this lecture, that is the referencing. Now, we all would agree upon the fact that the hardest, the driest part of thesis writing or maybe an article writing or the protocol writing is the reference section. Everyone, just ignores it. What we all do is we choose one or more appropriate articles, then we copy the required references from the reference list of that particular article, and we just paste it in our thesis without even understanding the meaning, the formatting, or even the reference system. Referencing is, just like the footnotes of respect in academia. When we reference, we are acknowledging the hard work of others who paved the way for our research. Think of it as like giving an honor to the original creators. Without them, we have no shoulders to stand on. So the referencing or the citation, it makes the foundation of academic research. Now let's discuss it with a small example. Now, when you are conducting your thesis experiment, you performed new research. While doing that, you take help from previous studies. For example, suppose you are developing a new intracanal medicament and you are testing its antibacterial efficacy. To test that, we can either use an Aggarwal method or a PCR analysis method. Now, while planning your experiments, you consult various articles using these technologies, and then you base your experimental methodology on findings of this previous research. So eventually, you choose a topic considering its advantages and disadvantages, which have been written in the previous paper. Now, for example, if you're using a PCR analysis, then you need to put a reference to the article supporting your methodology. So in a way, you are acknowledging the old research over which your new study, your methodology, or your experiment is based upon. But some people, they have this notion that when we use or when we copy a line or a paragraph from an article, only then we have to put a reference for that article. No, that is not true. Referencing just means that we are quoting a scientific finding and not a mere line from an article. Now, if you're using a scientific knowledge from any specific article to conduct your experiment, then you have to put a citation, you have to put a reference for that. Else, you would be accused of scientific theft and plagiarism. Referencing is just about recognizing facts, recognizing ideas. If someone else's research influenced your research, it deserves a citation. Believe me, plagiarism does not just mean copying text. It is about taking credit for thoughts that aren't your own. So we acknowledge the source of information that has been used in our study. We mark the material as a citation wherever we use it and put the details of that material in the reference list, which appears at the end of manuscript. So this is a basic example of a reference that has been formatted under the Vancouver style. This is a citation, and this is the reference list which is put in the end of the manuscript. The reference contains the author name, the article title, the journal name, the year of publication, the volume, and the issue details, and the page number of the article. Now, you're writing your thesis, and suppose you are into your intro part, and you need to know what all to cite. Now, every scientific information which has not resulted from your study and which is not a piece of common knowledge, it should be referenced. If it's not a common knowledge like water is wet, it needs a citation. For example, if you're discussing a specific study or specific insight, you have to cite it. But if it is an universally known fact, then there is no need to citation. Just remember, if it feels like something most people don't know, always take a caution and just cite it. Now, when you are writing your thesis or a research article, you may come across very good manuscript, some very beautifully written articles. Now, at that time, it is very tempting to take out some lines or some paragraph from those articles and use those lines verbatim in your writing. Sometimes you might feel that a particular line, it may aptly describe your need, and you just have to include that line in your thesis, but you just cannot simply copy and paste anything in your research. But that does not mean that you cannot incorporate others work. There are two different ways of borrowing someone else's work and use it in your thesis. The first one is quoting. That is, you copy a source word by word without changing the line. Now, when do we use this method? If you feel that the original line is very powerful, and if you change the line, its meaning would be lost, then you put that line in double quotes and use it in your article. Now, don't forget to put these double quotes and a reference to that line. Now, these double quotes simply means that you are acknowledging the fact that this line has been verbatim taken from a particular source in the same words as were used originally. This kind of direct quoting is reserved for like definitions or maybe some statements by WH or any a specific line which has been taken from an article. Now you cannot overuse such kind of direct quotation in your article. Now, they are just like sprinkling salt. Use them only if the author exact words are powerful or unique. Put them in double quotes, and believe me, you have to add a citation for that. You don't need to overdo it, though. Too many quotes can drown your own voice. So a maximum of 1 to 2 direct quotes can be used, and maybe it should be used in your article. The other method and the most common way to include the available articles is paraphrasing, or we simply called it as indirect quoting. Now, for example, you want to include a particular paragraph in your article. So what you do, you just read it, you go through it, you understand it completely. Then you completely rewrite that paragraph or that line in your own words. So you're not directly using that line or that paragraph in your article, but you have taken some kind of inspiration from that line, and then you are writing it in your own words. But it has to be completely written in your own words. You cannot, just use synonyms, change one word or another, and claim that this is your writing. Now, one very important thing is that even if you are paraphrasing a line or any information, you still need to put a reference for that. Now, to avoid plagiarism, you need to give credit where it is due. If an idea isn't yours, you have to cite it. If you're using someone else's data, methodology, or results, and even if you're paraphrasing it, you have to cite it. Think of it is like an intellectual manners. By acknowledging others' work, you are keeping things ethical and very honest. Now we have read the need for referencing. Now we'll move ahead to the basic reference styles. Out of which these four styles, Vancouver and Harvard styles, are commonly used in dental and medical literature. The first system is the Vancouver style. The Vancouver style, it uses numbers for citation, just like little markers in your text, 1, 2, 3. These numbers correspond to a list at the end. It's very straightforward and it keeps the text very clean. It makes easy for readers to check your sources without breaking the flow. Now, it uses numbers within the text that refers to the entries in the reference list. This is a classic example of a Vancouver system. The citations are marked as numbers which correspond to the numbered entries in the reference list. The reference list is you can see in the numeric order in which the articles appear or they are cited in the manuscript. Now, there are many versions of placing a citation in the text, and they are specific to each journal. For example, the citations can be placed inside the line itself, or it can be placed in a superscript. It can be placed at the end of line in a bracket, or maybe before the full stop. It can be in the subscript or a superscript. These all type of formatting, they are particular to any kind of a journal. The important part is writing a correct style of the reference. Now, Vancouver style has a typical permanent kind of a format. You start by writing the name of the authors, the first, the last name, then the initial of the first name followed by a full stop, then the full title of the paper, again a full stop, then the abbreviation of the journal, you give a space, you put the year of publication, then you put a semicolon, you put the volume, the column, and the page number. So all the details of the paper are put in the reference list. I'll just briefly tell again: the last name, then the initials, then the title of the paper, then the journal's name in abbreviation, then the year publication, volume, and finally the page numbers. Now, the Vancouver system, it is an author number system. The Harvard system, on the other hand, is an author and the date system method. Now, sources are cited within the text of your articles by putting the name of the author followed by the date of publication. All other details about the publication are given in the list of references or bibliography, as we call, at the end. So if you recall, in Vancouver style, you are putting the citation as a number, whereas in Harvard style, you are putting the name of the author and the year as a citation, like Aberg 1980. So you're putting the name of the author and the year as a citation, not just a number. Now, in Vancouver style, the reference list was in numerical order in the sequence of citation in the article, whereas in the Harvard style, the reference list is in alphabetical order. It's more personalized. It tells the reader exactly who said what, like putting a name to a face. Now, there are some basic advantages of the Harvard system. Now, it may happen many times that when you are reading an article, you find a good line. You turn to the reference list to see who has written that article. Now you turn all the pages and go down to the last page of reference list. What happens is that you lose your flow of reading. Now in the Harvard system, the author's name is in the citation itself. So you don't need to go to the reference list. The second important advantage is the presence of year in the citation. Now the year of publication is, as important as the author. The recent articles, they have higher weightage than the old articles. In Vancouver style, you have to go to the last page to find the year of publication of citation. Whereas in Harvard style, the year information is available in the citation in the manuscript text itself. You don't have to go to the reference list to find out that. While Vancouver is all about simplicity, the Harvard is about giving credit front and center. So Vancouver is efficient and space saving, while Harvard feels it more personal and direct to help the authors. Now, certain things are specific to Harvard. It's author friendly, it's reader friendly, and it's researcher friendly. Moreover, the author is not just a number in the text. His or her name is fully acknowledged whenever they are cited. So why do we use Vancouver? It was adopted by editors since it was indexing friendly and it makes the review process easier. Now, these are the basic details of the use of references. The final part of this lecture is the use of referencing softwares such as Zotero. Now, these can help you incorporate a particular reference style in your manuscript. The software will do all the hard work for you. With just a click of a button, the references are introduced in the manuscript and specific reference list is generated. But why do you need the references software in the first place? Why not use the gold standard of saving articles, use them in your paper, put citation, and finally put a reference list to that? Now, since the whole process is manual, it can lead to a lot of typing errors. Plus, a lot of references can be missed out while doing this process. So what you need is a reference software or a reference management tool, as we call it. You save all the data in the software. and it helps in putting the citation, and in bonus, it generates the reference list for you in whatever format you want. Now, there are three basic reference software which we used in dentistry: the EndNote, Zotero, and Mendeley. The EndNote is paid. The Zotero and Mendeley are absolutely free to use. Now, Zotero and Mendeley, they have almost same interface and they can be used alternatively. Now, if you're well versed with Zotero, you can use Mendeley and the vice versa. I personally use Zotero, but that is my personal opinion. So, to use Zotero, you first have to download and install it on your system. I would prefer to use the same portable system on which I do browsing for my research work, so that I am able to immediately save all relevant articles to Zotero immediately. Now, once you open the Zotero website, download along it with Zotero connector. Now, this connector is a Chrome or a Mozilla extension. It is really important, to enable you to send the data directly to Zotero. Now, after you have downloaded Zotero setup, you have to click this next number of times. Like, you have to accept all term and condition, and finally you see a Zotero window on your desktop. Now, on your internet browser window, you should see Zotero extension next to the search bar. It may be written as Z, or it may be written as E, or simply this kind of a puzzle piece. Now, if you hover your mouse over it, it will say Zotero connector has access to this site. That means this extension has been installed into your Chrome or your Mozilla window. Now open your browser and search the article you want to save. Right? This is the article you want to save. Click on the Zotero extension. After a second, you will see this small pop-up coming up. It shall say that data is being saved to your library in the Zotero. Now you can also save multiple records at the same time. Let's take the example of our previous search. We have 8 articles in our search. Now click on the send button. There will be 4 options: clipboard, my bibliography, collection, and citation manager. Click on the last option, that is the citation manager. Now choose the articles to be saved. I'm choosing all the 8 articles. Now click on create file, and the data will be saved as .nbib file. The last name, the extension name is .nbib file. Now the Zotero and the Mendeley, they can read and import nbib or maybe bib text file, but the most important is nbib file. Now to save this file to Zotero, open Zotero, go to the file, click on import, and you shall be able to import all the articles you have selected on that PubMed page. Right? We can see all the 8 articles which have been imported into my Zotero software. Now to use Zotero, make sure you have a Microsoft Office. Now Zotero or Mendeley, they does not work with Kingsoft or any other Word software in Windows. On MacBook, they work perfectly fine with a pre-installed Word software. So while using your MS Word, you shall see a Zotero option in the title bar here. Right? Now, if you click at this button, there shall be a host of options like add or edit citation, add or edit bibliography, and so on. Now you start writing your thesis or research paper. The moment you want to put a citation, click on the add/edit citation button. Now the software shall ask you the type of format you want. Now, depending upon your need, you can choose any format. I am choosing the Vancouver format. Now, this is just a one-time process. Afterwards, the references shall be added in the chosen format only. So when I choose this Vancouver format, there will be a Zotero column pop-up. Now start typing either the author or the title of the paper which you have saved in the Zotero software. You shall see that a desired paper will appear below the search bar. Right? Now click on this paper and it shall automatically add it as a citation in your paper. We can see this citation 1, 2, or 3 in your paper. Now I have added 3 references in this very short write-up. When I want to put the references, I shall click on the add/edit bibliography button. Now this software shall automatically insert the reference list. When I click on that, we can see a reference list has been added in a Vancouver format. Now, since this it has directly imported the data from the source website, there are minimal chances of a typo error. Plus, if you want, you can change the formatting of your reference system. For example, suppose I want to change it to Harvard style. I shall click on document preferences and it shall give me option for other formats. If I choose Harvard style, with just a click of a button, all the citation and the references shall automatically change to other format in a moment. Or it's as simple and easy as that. Of course, there is a small learning curve to use these softwares. Now I am using the Zotero and mainly from past 10, 11 years now, and I wonder how much time I could have saved if these softwares were available during my post graduation. Now, with that, we conclude this lecture. If you have any query, message or email me at the following address. Thank you so much.